and where I'm at, and we just wanted to talk a little bit more about what's going on here with an update on this case. I know we have beat it to death and back, and the reason we still talk about it is because, well, it's still going on. There's no resolution. So with the whole Gretchen Fleming, the police, they came out and, oh, it's been about 2 months ago. This was in May. They said, well, we're going to announce whether or not we have DNA evidence. And all of a sudden, we just never heard. And a lot of these women in these group chats were sitting there and waiting with bated breath. And I said, don't sit there and wait. I said, I don't think you're going to get an answer. The car is still sitting up in labs. We never heard whether that came back or not. I think there's a deer behind me. Yeah, there are a couple deer right back here, literally right behind me. How cool is that? I thought I saw something walking. It looked like a dog. Yeah, that's a buck. It's got some horns on it. I don't know how well you can see that. That's so cool. Just watching me. But anyway, so yeah, back to the case. So they never announced one way or another whether they had DNA evidence. The car's still sitting up at labs. I know he don't have that back yet because he's over there living with Preston Pierce is living with his sister Judy Bonnet down by WVUP off of 47 at Miller Road. And that car's not there yet. The black Nissan Rogue, it's not there yet. So they still have that in labs. And what's going on is the police, they've now passed it off to external agencies. And it's like I said all along from day one, I said this in the case. I said, they're never going to give you guys the answers you're looking for. And the family was vociferously defending them and said, y'all need to stop bashing the police. They're working night and day on it. Well, that might be. And yes, I know the individuals, it's not the individuals, it's the system. It's just like when I was in the Army, it's just like the hospitals. It's not individual workers, it's the whole system. It's just broken. And a policeman cannot be also a detective and a juror. They just can't. It's not fair for them. So, yeah, I mean, long story short, here we are, and we don't even get the privilege of knowing what external organizations they passed it off to. They're not saying. Now, I don't know if the family is the one that asked the cops to pass it off, saying, well, there's not really any headway being made, or if the cops just decided, hey, we're at an impasse, we're not making any progress, let's just pass it off. But it's not really how these agencies work. You don't let the family dictate so much what's going on in a possible murder investigation. And like I said, we do believe that this is human trafficking. The police, they came out right away and they said they didn't believe it was human trafficking. And they cleared the guy that I've named, Jason Pape, twice. And a lot of people don't believe he's guilty. And we're still thinking that he's at play here. I mean, he had her stuff and he wouldn't give it to Preston the night that Preston came back when she came up missing because she wasn't with him. And then he turns it back into the first bar, the front row. And there it sits for a whole week. No words are said or anything. So, if he goes and immediately gets his name cleared from the police, then what's the whole rationale for that? Why are you putting her phone and her debit cards and her purse up at the first bar? Why not give it to My Way where she disappeared from? And why not give it right to the family? We have now come out and found that he wasn't a family friend, Jason Pape. He was a good friend of hers. And that's why, their family was protecting the name of him from getting out there. So, and I understand he's been clear with the police, so I'm not saying go and bash the guy or anything. We don't know, but we find it very, very odd that the actions were what they were, that you would just turn her belongings into the first bar. And he also gave her a ride in a black wrecker truck instead of his car. So there are a lot of things that don't add up with this, okay? So long story short, now we don't know who the agencies are, but there is one highlight to note in this whole case. So Judy Petty, she came up missing here, I want to say it was around 2008 maybe, and from nearby Walker. And that's where we were out exploring today, was Walker, West Virginia. It's real close to Parkersburg. And that's where Judy Petty came up missing. Well, there's this organization that's taking up her investigation now. And one of the guys that's in that group is former Army counterintelligence. And the whole purpose of counterintelligence is to deceive. It's to counter. That's the name of the game with, what that is. It's not intelligence, it's counterintelligence. Now, granted, it's just one of the guys, and he is former Army counterintelligence, but there could be something at play in that. And then you got to look at the date that they they started with their investigation with Judy Petty's case. Now it's a different woman, but they jumped into that November, about 3 weeks before Gretchen came up missing of this past year in 2022. And you've had, what, 8 years to do your investigation. Now all of a sudden you're going to start your investigation 3 weeks before Gretchen goes missing? That seems a little bit suspicious to me. I don't know. So there's that. And we also did find out from talking to one of the locals around here, gave us some really good information, and his daughter actually passed it off as a tip to the police when this investigation was still going on, that Preston Pierce, aka Daryl Lott, would, when he worked at, I think it was called Persimmon Ridge at the time, I think that it closed down and now its name is called Harmony Ridge, and it's a rehab facility, and it might be, I think it's for women out there around, the petroleum area. Not far, this whole area, it's not far from here, okay? Kind of close to Walker, but like more in the petroleum area. That's kind of close to where Eaton's Tunnel is that we went to last week. And I guess when he worked there, he brought women's laundry back in a basket around midnight. And everybody was asking, why are you bringing women's laundry here in a basket at midnight? Well, come to find out, he wrote on one of the women's underwears that, I don't know if it was his phone number, and said, call me if you're looking for a good time, or something to that effect. I can't remember exactly what he wrote on it, but he wrote on it. And it was very disturbing, and it's just sad. It's just sad what has allowed to transpire over the last years and decades, and there's never been any charges filed against this guy. And that's our thing. This isn't about fame. It's not about the reward money. I mean, yeah, sure, it would be nice, but you know, we've got people out there chasing reward money, and a couple people are searching, and that's fine. I mean, that's what it's there for. But you know, everybody wants this to be over. Everybody wants some resolution here. But at the end of the day, it's like, you know, this is all what I said it would be. It would be no answers. It would be passed off. But the police should have just gotten the FBI involved from the start, you know, and there were no dogs on the ground. And I never understood that logic. It's a missing persons case, and I get it. This one's got high traction. There are missing people that come up here every day. If you guys follow some channels, out there, you're going to find that, you know, there are missing people every day from this country. So, you know, this is just one of many, and it sucks. You know, human trafficking is a real thing, but until we collectively stand up and do something about it, human trafficking is going to continue to happen, and we don't want it to happen. So I recently watched that movie, The Sound of Freedom. I'll give you guys my take on it here soon, and yeah, we'll go from there. So thanks for tuning in. And we are making more connections in this case. We have a big poster board, but we're not going to talk about, you know, people or whatever we're finding. You know, that's behind closed doors, and we're just going to try to get these connections and see what we can find out as time goes on. So thanks again for tuning in. We appreciate you guys, all the love and support of this channel, and even the naysayers and the haters. You know what? We're not going to stop. We said from day one that we're going to continue to look, because that's what we're supposed to do as this community, and we stand for each other. So let's give this family some peace and justice, even though things haven't gone the way they should have gone in terms of finding her. Hey, you know what? There's people still out there looking, and it's not just us. There are other individuals. So just know that, you know, keep praying, you know, and pray for the family, pray for answers, pray for justice, pray that Preston Pierce or the guilty people are behind bars, and that this human trafficking bullshit ends once and for all. Thank you, and we'll see you later.